Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome for the first pre-race show of the season. The season is season 29. My name's, of course, Michael Edwards, and joining with me here is Colin R. Mason. Colin, how are you doing ahead of a brand new season here in One Hub?
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, everyone. We are back, Mike. We're back. Season 29 is go. It's going to be very interesting. We've got a new DLC. It's going to be very difficult for these drivers to manage the batteries, Mike. That's going to be a key talking point this season.
Yeah, absolutely. The battery management is so important on this DLC, which is, of course, going to be what the drivers are all going to have to contend with. Of course, season 29, 14 rounds ahead of us. I mean, we got a lot to go through here today. But what circuit are we going racing at, first of all?
So, round one, we are racing around Belgium. One of my favourite tracks, Mike, I got to be honest. It's going to be very difficult for these drivers to manage the battery around such a power-hungry track.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, looking at Belgium, I mean, you see it there. Of course, the 7-kilometer circuit, 22 laps for the drivers with 4 straight zones. And of course, as you mentioned, a very power-hungry circuit. ERS management is going to be so crucial around a track like this.
It is. It's going to be the key talking point today. How are they going to be able to manage that battery? I think we're going to see a lot of yo-yo overtakes, Mike, where we're going to see someone blasting past, possibly down the Camel Straight, but then later on in the lap run out of battery and it's switched around again.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, looking at some of like the key areas and where you're going to see overtakes happen. I mean, down at turn 1 at the source, you're going to be seeing a fair few overtakes down there. Of course, down the long Camel Straight, another area where I think we're going to be seeing quite a few overtakes. Into turn number 8 at Brussels, I think you could be seeing a few people get a little dab of ERS and that go down the inside there. And I think the exit of Pouon will be another key area where if you get a good line, a little dab of ERS, you can have a look in towards the turn 12, turn 13 chicane.
Yeah, exactly that. But one thing, Mike, that we haven't actually spoken about yet is we are not going to know the weather for the race. Now, just to give everyone a heads up, at the moment, all qualifying sessions are going to be dry. Now, the reason for that is there is a glitch where not every driver has the full use of the battery. So some people it's locked to medium, and then some it is a hot lap is available. So for the qualifying, it is going to be dry only. But for the race, there is no problems with the battery, and that has the possibility of some rain.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for reminding of that. I mean, obviously, qualifying is going to be dry, so everyone knows what to expect there, but the race, as you mentioned, could be anything, and we'll find out a little bit later on what the weather is going to be like with the adaptive weather system. Well, Cole, looking through everything, I mean, we have a returning format this season, which was brought in halfway through last season, which is, of course, the Predictions Championship between yourself and Jess again.
Yes, which went incredibly badly for me last time, I must say. But I feel as though I have some redemption on offer for me this season. I hope so, anyway.
Well, of course, Jess not here tonight, but I do have Jess's predictions, so we'll be going through them as we go through the show. I think, obviously, let's have a little look at the first tier of the afternoon, which we'll be going to, which is, of course, the P4 tier. Now, an incredible lineup of drivers here in P4. I mean, there's some names immediately that jump out to me as guys to keep an eye on. Obviously, J.R. Mason being one, Jamie, the reigning the reigning champion. Shiesty, I think, will be up there. Truth, obviously, Night Clear, Evil Dragon, obviously Kosarak. I apologize if I've absolutely butchered your name there. But yeah, I mean, there's some drivers definitely to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting tier, and I echo what you said about the drivers and how well they could do. For the constructors, I think that McLaren team is looking very, very, very strong. Along with the Red Bull of Truth and Martineau as well, that's a strong team. But we do have a couple of new drivers that we don't know about. So Fernandez in the Williams, R3N74 in the Haas. Martineau is the new driver to us as well. So these drivers, we're not sure. And Red Pill Closet as well in the Audi. So these drivers, we're not sure, you know, how good they are, what their race pace is like, what their wheel-to-wheel battles like, what their strategy's like. So there's quite a lot of unknowns going into this tier.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of unknowns going in. Obviously, some familiar names that we obviously know what they are capable of. But with the new regulation changes, obviously brought in for the DLC, everything can be completely shaken up in a heartbeat, and all of our early predictions might go completely out the window. But just going off of the preseason race, I mean, we saw Kosarak, and obviously we saw Truth having some fantastic pace. Mason obviously had some great pace and did not get penalties, but just fell short of jumping the two cars ahead on penalties. Do you think penalties are going to be the main factor here in P4?
I would say so, yes. And Belgium is one of those tracks where it is quite easy to get a 3-second time penalty, you know, for corner cut-in or corner extensions. And the pit lane, Mike, you know, coming into that pit lane, I've seen drivers lose front wings. I've seen drivers speed in the pit lane. So it's not a given that we're not going to get any 10-second penalties for speeding in the pit lane either, which is, of course, what Truth and Kozayak got in Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, obviously they're going to be hoping that that was just a pre-season race mistake and it doesn't carry on into the season, because it can be very costly in a tier like this. Obviously, now looking at the predictions for P4, obviously no Jess here tonight, unfortunately, so we are gonna have to do Jess's predictions first, and then Colin, you're gonna have to try and rebuttal these predictions. But pole position for Jess, she's gone with Koziak.
Ooh, okay. So my pole position, I'm going for Helvetica in the Haas. So that's my pole position punt.
Okay, and the top three, so the podiums for Jess here tonight, she's going Truth with the win, Cos in second, and Evil completing the podium.
Oh, okay. So I'll start with third. So my third position punt is I'm going to go with Dad. I'm going to go with JR Mason 54 for third. In second place, I'm going to go Helvetica. And I'm going to go with Truth winning the race. So that's my punt.
Truth was picked by Jess to win the race.
Jessica Ball! Right, okay. We'll switch it around then. We'll go Truth in second and Helvetica in first.
There we go. The mind games have begun already between Colin and Jess. The return of the prediction table. Obviously, yeah, fantastic predictions going through. I don't know whether to give my predictions. Do I give my predictions? What do we reckon?
Yeah, go for it, mate. Yeah, do it.
I mean, they don't count for anything, but obviously my prediction for pole position, I think Mason for pole position here. When it comes to the podium, I mean, I'm going to go Jamie for the win. I'm going to go Night Clear second, and I'm going to go Truth in third.
Ooh. Very interested. Well, you will be able to find out whether our predictions are right if you join us at 3 p.m. Now, unfortunately, we haven't got a stream for P4 tonight. If you know anyone who's able to stream and commentate for us, please send them our way, and we'll hopefully get a stream sorted now for next week. But I know that Jamie and Mason stream their point of views on YouTube, so you can watch their races from their point of view if you wish to.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, now moving on from P4, we go up a tier to P3, and this is a very an open field, I might say, for this tier.
Yes, this is a very interesting tier. It's gonna be very interesting to see, because I've got a few hints and punts on who I think will do well, but I'm not sure how good they are at managing batteries yet. So this is the thing, you know. This is what I really do find that this DLC is a bigger change than if we had a new game, and it's very difficult to see and judge who's going to be very, very quick in this tier. But looking at the drivers, this is going to be, I would say this is going to be one of our closest tiers, probably the closest.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, some very very competitive drivers in this tier. I mean, Joe, his second season on the wheel since transferring last season. Rich, who, of course, we had a bit of a conversation about before the stream started, a part of that fantastic championship battle that we saw end in Belgium, where he was going up against Jay Luke for what was then the P2 championship in season 26, and that was a brilliant race. Cam, what a driver that Cam is. I mean, Cam will be very consistent. I know that. Joel, obviously, coming up from P4 to P3, showed great pace in qualifying and got a bit unlucky in the race, but, you know, hoping to bounce back. Mikey looking fantastic in pre-season as well. You got Quinn in there who can turn up on his day. Marshall was very quick last season. Nicholas can be up there as well. It's just wide open.
Yeah, it is. And don't forget about yourself, Mike, you know.
I'm washed. I'm washed. I'm
washed. This is going to be... So I was just looking at this now, trying to judge who I think, as a team, is going to do the best. Very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. To be honest, again, I'm going to go with McLaren again, as did with P4. I think Gaza and Joe, I think that's a really, really, really strong team. Quinn and Jason, that's another great team. And of course, the Red Bulls of Cam and Joel, that's going to be very, very tight. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And are we going to get team orders, Mike? You know, is there a pecking order already established? You know, that's going to be interesting to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, when looking at their constructors and that, there's one team that definitely stands out to me, and that is the Red Bull team of Cam and Joel. I think they could work very, very well together in terms of the constructors. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, there are some spots still available across all tiers, so if you are interested in sign up, make sure that you do so and try to get out there on track with us all. And yeah, I mean... there's obviously some drivers that are going to be driving by themselves until teammates come through for them. But we have been joined by one of our P3 drivers. Of course, in the McLaren, we've been joined by Joe. How are you doing, Joe?
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, mate. Yes, we can.
Yeah. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. So, brand new game, brand new game cycle. Obviously, to get used to the ERS. How are you managing at the start of this DLC cycle?
It's not one I enjoy, but it's kind of like an interesting one, as you guys kind of discussed already. I found from track to track, it's so different. So you have to do like multiple sessions. And I found in certain cases from the 25 game, for example, tracks that I weren't as good on, I'm a bit better on now. In the race, like Monza, for example, I had like no pace on 25, but I think in my recent lead race there, I finished second. So, so I must be doing something right. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I say, not the biggest fan of the battery. I prefer just to drive flat out if you could. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. There's quite a lot of quick drivers at the top of P3, so will be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you was a very, very quick driver last season in P3. Are looking to carry on that form into this season. What drivers are you looking at in terms of who will be your main competition for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think it's kind of quite hard to gauge last week because I think a number of us benefited from the VSC, so a number of drivers were then out of sync that couldn't pit. But I think it was like Mikey, Joel, I can't remember who else was up there. It might have been, I can't remember where you qualified now. But there was like a number of drivers up there. I also have to keep an eye on fuel as well because I literally, on the last lap, ran out of fuel out the chicane, and Cam nearly had me to the line. So,
allegedly, I might have been responsible for the virtual safety car. Allegedly.
oh right.
Colin, have you got any questions?
I don't remember what happened.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Now, brand new season, like Mike said, different game.
Yep.
Very difficult to manage the battery. Now, have you managed to do any wet weather practice? Now, we know that qualifying is going to be dry, but the race, it could be hammering down. Are you hoping for dry for the first race to settle in, or do you want it a bit wet?
I think because I've done some, not so much, not on Belgium as such. I've done some. I think it was like qualifying. It might have been qualifying in some of the race at Brazil in another league where I've done like some wet running, and it's not so bad. I guess it's kind of just unless you've got the actual pace, you can't really do much because of the battery mode. So you kind of like in trains most of the time. I think for here, I think maybe a bit of rain would be good, just because I don't think I've kind of got around 46 flat or so. But if you've got people that are in the 45s that I'm hearing in P3 chat, then I could be in trouble. So some rain might help.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, it's going to be very interesting. Yeah. Joe, I think you're one of the most consistent drivers of this tier, to be honest. And you've got a very, very good teammate in Gaza.
Yep.
Are you planning on being in a party chat together? Are you planning on working together?
Yeah, we always work together well. We always try and figure out what kind of strategy we'll do. And like share setup info and stuff like that to try and help each other the best. Gaz has promised me he'll try and be a bit better in attendance this season. For me being a one-man team last season, so hopefully we can put on a good charge for the disruptors as well.
Well, best of luck for this afternoon. You can watch Joe and tune in at 4:30, and your commentators will be Liam and Boney Fish. So best of luck, Joe. Thank you very, very much for joining, and good luck tonight.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, good luck, mate. Well, yeah, as you mentioned there, obviously Liam and Boneyfish being the commentators for P3. Of course, Boneyfish knows exactly what it takes to win the P3 championship, so some great insight will be coming from him, of course. Now on to the predictions here for P3, and did you just hit your chair?
No, you can blame Mrs. M for that. She is making a racket behind me.
Okay, well, Jess's prediction for pole position, she has gone for Mikey.
Oh, Mikey on pole. Oh, okay. My pole position punt. I'm gonna go with Joel for pole, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's my punt for pole.
Okay, and Jess's top 3. I see in third place, she's gone with Nicholas. In second place, she has gone with Cam K Mum. And in first place, she's gone for the pole sitter, Mikey.
Ooh, okay. That was actually who I thought would win the race, is Mikey. So I'm going to go for first place, Joel. I think he's going to convert pole into the win. I'm going to go with Mikey in second place. And in third place, I'm going to go Joe B in the McLaren, the lad that we've just had a nice conversation with.
Lovely stuff. I'll do my predictions as well. For pole position, I'm going to go with Cam K. For the race win, I'm going to go with Cam K.
Wow.
For second, I am going to go with Joe, because of how good he was last season, and obviously there were some races that he didn't have go his way. I'm going to go Marshall second.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. In the Audi.
And the final spot on the podium, I'm going to go a classic. I'm going to go Rich on the podium. No, I'm not going to go me. I'm going to go Rich for the podium.
Isn't it strange, though? You know, like our predictions are quite a lot different, which is very, very interesting. And it shows how open this tier is. The fact that the predictions are quite varied. Yeah, and like we said, you can tune in on Twitch at 4:30 with Liam and Boney Fish around the brilliant circuit of Belgium.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, moving on up a tier to P2. And again, another tier I think that is completely wide open. Look at some of the names we got in your call.
This one's bonkers. There's no other word for it. Absolutely bonkers. We do also have a lot of new drivers here. So this is another one that we're going to struggle to judge, certainly at round 1. But drivers who stick out for me at the minute, Larkin, Mokri, Chris in the Ferrari, AK Rowe, who joined us last season and got better and better and better throughout the season. Adagio is a strong call. Boney Fish, who showed tremendous pace in Japan. In the McLaren. He's obviously our reigning P3 champion. He's been promoted from P3 into P2. And I'm very impressed so far with how he's done from the pre-season race.
Yeah, absolutely. Boney Fish, I mean, he's adapted to this tier very well from the pre-season race that we saw. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on once the season actually starts. As you mentioned, though, some obviously very key names to keep an eye on. Larkin, his teammate Miami as well, being another one. Mokri, Chris and Rowe, that could be a very strong pairing in the Ferrari. Jonas, I think, is another one that could shock a few people this season. A very consistent driver and great pace on his day.
Yeah, and of course, I believe he won the pre-season race last week around Japan as well, which was an astonishing performance from Jonas, to be honest. He really seems to have adapted to this game very, very well. And that's going to be very interesting to see. But of course, you know, we could get rain, and you know, which of these drivers are going to be good in the rain, and who are going to struggle. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, some rivalries I think will be renewed as well. That McLaren partnership, of course, we're fighting for the Drivers' Championship in P3 last season, and now they're teaming together.
Yeah, well spotted. Yeah, I didn't realise that. Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, so of course the two P3 drivers decided to team up and challenge the P2 drivers. That's actually quite common. It happens a lot. We notice that when two drivers, they're actually fighting, you know, and rivals, and then they get promoted and they team up, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously now looking at the predictions once again here in P2. We'll start with Jess's predictions. in P2, she's gone for Strixia, who is
Wow, one of our new drivers.
one of our new drivers who showed great pace in Japan as well.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Right, let's think now. Come on now, Colin, don't bottle it. Pole position. I am going to go Jonas in the Audi.
Ooh, okay. I mean, if I'm going to pick a pole position, I'm going to go old school. I'm going to go Larkin for pole.
Nice.
And Jess's top 3. In third place, she's going AK Rowe on the final spot of the podium. In second place, she's going with the reigning P3 champion in Bonniefish. And
Wow.
for the race win, she's going Strixia for a pole position race win at the start of the season.
Wow, okay. So my race winner, I'm going to go with Jonas again. So I think he's going to make it 2 in a row after last week's great performance around Japan in the pre-season race. In second place, I'm going to go my mate in the Ferrari, and I'm going to go Quace. I think he's going to have a very, very good season. Very intelligent driver as well. So he's my punt for P2. In P3, I'm going to go Bonniefish. And I think Bonniefish will get a maiden podium on his first race in P2. So I think the reigning champion from P3 will get on the podium in P2.
Very, very interesting indeed. Now, for my top 3, I'm going to go Mokri for the race win.
Ooh.
I'm going to go DRS Maestro for second place. He showed some great pace in Japan as well. And completing the podium, I'm going to go Larkin.
Ooh. Ooh, I've just seen in the chat, actually, Larkin is not racing tonight, so...
That's a good job we're not part of the championship.
Good job you're not part of the championship, isn't it? Yeah. But to be honest, I think that's another. This is another thing. P2 for me is the tier that I'm probably most looking forward to watching, because it's so close. These are class drivers, and I can honestly see, 5 or 6 drivers, maybe even more than that, winning races this season. Don't forget, it is a 14-race season, not our usual 12. So a bit longer. Drivers are going to have to be a bit more consistent for a longer period. Is that going to make a difference? But I think this tier is going to be tremendous.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And obviously from my side, and looking at a couple of the P3 drivers that have stepped up, it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt in the P2 tier. Moving on now to the top tier here in P1. Oh, by the way, if you wanted to tune in to a P2 later tonight, it is myself and Joe taking you through the action at 6 p.m. So make sure you guys tune in for that. As we head to P1, and what a collection of drivers we got in the top tier.
Yeah, this is quite stacked, to say the least, isn't it? I'm just looking at that grid now. Wow. That's going to be strong. But one thing that is absolutely brilliant to see is we have ourselves a female driver in P1, Charlotte Perkins, who is blindingly fast. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, completely rapid. She showed that at Japan last week. I could see her getting podiums this season without a problem. But what a grid that is. That really is. We got a couple, a few old school drivers here. Sampster, Lukey, obviously, Kieran, Arnard, Owen, Marco. A lot of these drivers have been with us now for many seasons. The Matter, of course, J. Cole and Senna teaming up in the Cadillac. This is going to be. I can't call this one. My brain. Marco probably at the minute, I would say, is my favourite, but But, I mean, Mertzi at the minute, I mean, he had a awesome end to the season last year. This is going to be an amazing tier. I'm going to find this very difficult to judge. Yeah, it's going to be hard, this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at like some of the drivers there, obviously that Craggy, obviously he's going to be very strong this year. Senna, I think, can obviously get himself well up there. Josh, who's made the step up from P2 to P1 after obviously joining halfway through the season last season, did the Silverstone race in P3, was too quick, got moved up to P2, won the first couple of races that he raced in P2, and he stepped up again now to P1 and looked very quick in Japan. Josh Robin could be one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Josh is very, very quick. Very, very quick driver. Senna and J. Cole, what a team that is. I think they're going to do very well in the Constructors, along with Owen and Arnaud in the Red Bull. Arnaud, at the end of last season, had some tremendous results. He really did. And of course, two ERT drivers, same as Senna and J. Cole. They're going to be very strong. The Mercedes of Marco and Mertzi, I personally can't see any team matching Marco and Mertzi. They are my favourites for the Constructors.
I think I have one.
Oh, go on.
Craggy and Alex in the Ferrari.
Oh, yeah, that's a point, yeah.
I'll tell you what, though.
See what I mean, though? How hard it is for this tier. This is going to... And I think it's going to be, I can see drivers winning a race one week, following week coming like 6th or 7th. And not due to mistakes, just to the level of the drivers,
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, one driver that I'm going to be very interested in seeing, obviously, went into the preseason race, obviously, with not that much time on the game. And that, of course, was Lukey. He did struggle in the preseason race to get the grip. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly Lukey's picked it up over this past week. Because in Japan, he really was struggling.
Yes, he unfortunately hasn't had a lot of time to practice. Obviously, he's been doing a ridiculous amount of work behind the scenes to get One Hub ready for season 29. So hopefully now that he's going to be able to get a bit of practice under his belt and see how he gets on. I'm usually practicing with him. Obviously, I'm unavailable to race this season. But one thing that Lukey usually gets right is his strategy. And I think that's going to help him. If he can nail that, then he's got a chance of getting some good results. But this tier is so difficult. I mean, we found it last season. I think one race I was like 4/10 off pole, and I was 12th. It's that close. You're not even looking for tenths in this tier. You're looking for hundredths. It's that close. It's going to be very exciting to watch.
Yeah, and I think this tier, is where the Predictions Championship is going to be won or lost between you and Jess, to be perfectly honest with you.
I think you're right there, mate. Yeah.
And speaking of the predictions, Jess's poll prediction is Alex around here.
Oh, okay. Let me think then. Let's have a look. Do you know what? I'm going to go with Josh for pole. Josh seems very, very quick on this game. I got to be honest, looking at his pace last week. I'm going to go with Josh for pole in P1.
Okay, lovely. Joe, for me, pole position, I'll go Marco for pole position. For P1. Jess's podium prediction in P3, she has Josh Robin. In P2, she has Alex. And taking the race win for the opening race of the season, she has Marco.
Oh, wow, okay. So, I actually wrote mine down then, before Jess said hers, and mine are different anyway, so that's good. So in third place, I'm going Marco. In second place, I'm going to go Josh. And I'm going to go for the race victory, Mertzi. So that is my punt for P1, you can tune in to watch that race, which is going to be a blinder, let's be honest. You can tune in to Twitch at 7:30. Now, Jess isn't available today, so I'm subbing in for Jess. I'm going to make my P1 commentary debut with Jamie at 7:30. So please tune into that, because that is going to be a blinder. And one thing, I got to make an apology here. Now, I'm just looking at the chat. Now, Jake, I wasn't aware of this. Now, Alexis Mason is another female driver. We have a all-women Williams team. Absolutely brilliant. For P1, Jake, I am certain that's a first. I am pretty certain that Jess teamed up with Catherine a couple of seasons ago. I think but this is certainly the first for P1.
Yeah, and I think Catherine a couple of seasons ago, if I remember correctly, was in P1, and I believe that she got moved down halfway through the season, if I remember correctly. Obviously, my brain sometimes doesn't remember things correctly, so if I'm wrong, do let me know in the chat.
I think you're right, Mike. I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously, a Williams pairing of Alexis and Charlotte is going to be very, very interesting. Of course, you can tune into that at 7:30. Colin and Jamie taking you through the action there. I'll quickly run through my top three as well before we swiftly move on. My top three would be I'm going to go Marco for the win. I'm going to go Craggy P2.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go Alex for the final spot on the podium.
Very nice. Very nice. Another mixed prediction. It's going to be very interesting. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are our lineups for today's races. Now, before we move on to our next segment, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the rules, just to remind our returning drivers and, of course, our new drivers. So there will be lobby restarts this evening. So at the end of qualifying, when the game automatically sends you into the race, you are to retire from the session. Don't leave the lobby, just retire from the session. Do that before the first sector, please. And then we can reset the grid for the race. As you can see up on the screen, no readying up, guys. Please do not ready up under any circumstances. So the only driver who is to ready up is the tier coordinator. No one else to ready up. Even if they've readied up, do not ready up. So easy answer, don't ready up under any circumstances when you're on the grid to go for the real race. So please remember your car setup. My advice to you guys is load your car setup first and then do your strategy. If you get your strategy sorted and you haven't got a setup, you're screwed. If you do your setup and you haven't got a strategy, it's not ideal, but you can wangle something. So guys, please remember, do not ready up. Safety car, remember, no overtaking under the safety car under any circumstances. Now, sometimes the game glitches out and says you're allowed to overtake. That is incorrect information. So when you're under safety car, do not overtake. And there you can see our safety car rules as well. So under safety car conditions, all cars must remain control of their car and must have their focus on the car ahead. Drivers who do overtake under the safety car conditions can be reported to the stewards. So please remember, don't do that. And also when you're under the safety car, keep their entire car behind the car ahead. One bit of advice, because I've seen it in many tiers, is drivers going so close to the car ahead under the safety car when the safety car's not even coming in into the pit lane on that lap. Leave a bit of a gap, guys, because if the other guy brakes hard in front of you and you're right behind him, all you're going to do is damage your front wing. So just be careful of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we have the hot lap rule, obviously referring to the qualifying stuff. But you call if you want to take us through that real quick.
Yes, so obviously in qualifying, you are going to come across drivers who are on a hot lap and you are not. You're either just preparing or you're coming into the pit lane. So please be very wary of drivers on a hot lap behind you. Please get off the racing line and let them through. To be honest, my advice to you guys is, when you've completed your hot lap, just gun it back to the pit lane, and then you're less likely to be caught by someone anyway. Obviously, you're not going to want to do that on your out lap, but just be very, very wary of drivers behind you. Now, if you are seen to have impeded another driver, and you are reported, you will receive a 3-place grid penalty for the next race from the stewards. This is a reason why we do the lobby restart, so we can apply those penalties. So when you're on your qualifying, please be very aware of the drivers around you. Take a look at the map, look in your mirrors, especially when you're coming out of pit lanes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, obviously some standards that the stewards will be expecting when it comes to racing out there. So we'll quickly run through them with Colin when it comes to overtaking around the outside, then the inside, and weaving on the streets.
Yeah, so we at One Hub here decided to clarify some of the racing rules, so people are completely aware of our rules and how we apply them as well in the steward's office. So if you are planning on overtaking around the outside, you need to be fully alongside the car as they turn into the natural racing line, and then you should be entitled to racing room from that driver. However, if you look at the top picture, if your front wing is simply just alongside the rear wheel of the car you're trying to overtake, then that defending driver on the inside is not entitled to give that driver space. So these are all on the Discord. Please make yourselves aware of them. We also have stewarding parameters as well, which are there so that you can understand how the stewards apply penalties as well. So just be wary of that. Also, on a side note, we know how difficult it is here to save battery. There will be drivers doing a bit of LICO, so lift and coast. Be wary of that, of where they're likely to do it, and just try and preempt it as best you can. And of course, drivers are going to run out of battery as well, and then they're going to be very going in or X'd in a corner. So just be wary of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at overtaking on the inside as well, obviously half of your car needs to be alongside the car on the inside to be entitled to the space down the inside. Of course, if you are fully behind the car, your right is to sit in behind and don't absolutely send it from a million miles back, because obviously that can lead to very severe penalties in the steward's office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And another thing as well, guys, while I remember it, please record all of your footage during qualifying and the race. Now, if the stewards request footage from a driver and they are not able to supply it, then that driver will get a 3-point deduction for the first offence. That will apply not only to the Drivers' Championship, but to the Constructors as well. So your teammate's not going to be very happy if you lose 3 points because you forgot to save your footage. So my advice on what my father will do tonight, he's streaming on YouTube. He is also going to save the footage on his PlayStation just in case the YouTube fails. So please remember to save and record all your footage.
Yeah, and of course, the last one by you, obviously the weaving on the streets. Of course, it is going to be very difficult to keep a car behind when they're burning battery behind you and you've not got much left. Of course, I mean, Colin, you'll be able to go through the defensive maneuvers now when it comes to weaving on the straights, but no excessive weaving. I think is the just the right term now for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're on a straight, the defending driver is allowed to make one defensive move and then move back to the racing line as long as it's done safely and done before the braking zone. So if you move back to the racing line under the braking zone, you are likely to be reported. So it has to be done prior to the braking zone. And like Mike said, no excessive weaving, and you could be reported to the stewards.
Yeah. Absolutely, and of course, another thing that the drivers will have to keep an eye on over the course of the season is their car wear, Colin. Of course, everyone's engine and gearbox will have to be changed over the course of the season. As you can see, you have 360 laps on each of the gearbox and engine. And of course, you will have to get them changed at some point during the season. If not, it is quite a hefty points deduction by the end of the season.
Yes, it is. So if memory serves me, it's 20-point deduction if you haven't done your engine and 10 for the gearbox. So a considerable points deduction. Now, as Mike said, 360 laps on your gearbox and 360 laps on your engine. That is not enough to complete the season. You can see on the right-hand side of the image, you've got all the lap counts for each circuit. This is posted every week, so you can see what level of wear each driver has. So please remember to take your engine and gearbox. Now, one thing, you are not allowed to take it at both. Sorry, you're not allowed to take both the engine and the gearbox at the same circuit. Has to be done at different tracks, so please bear that in mind. Drivers are going to be quite selective over which tracks to take it. Are they going to go, right, which is the circuit that's most likely to have safety cars to get me back in the hunt? What circuit is best for overtaking? That is purely down to the driver's choice themselves. But that is our rules for engine and gearbox, and makes it a bit of fun. And what will happen is, if you take an engine penalty, that's a 10-place grid penalty. So you're still going to enter qualifying and try and get the best position, but you will be dropped 10 places. For a gearbox, it's just the 5 places. So something to be aware of. Another element of strategy for us here at OneHub.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we've seen over the years how drivers have deployed these engine and gearbox changes. Some tracks now, which they don't feel very confident at, they'll get their engine or gearbox out of the way at those circuits. Or if it's a track where they're confident they can make quite a decent amount of overtakes, they will take it there as well. So it adds that extra element of strategy over the course of the season, because you don't know when your competitors are going to be taking those penalties.
Yeah, exactly that. So a mechanic that I really, really enjoy, I got to be honest. We introduced this many seasons ago now, and it is rather popular, and it does make a difference to the races. So it does make some of the races very, very exciting when you've got drivers who are normally fighting at the front and they're now racing at the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, probably the moment that everyone has been waiting for, Cole, is of course finding out what the weather conditions are going to be like. Of course, we have the adaptive weather system here in OneHub, and it does throw up some very interesting weather conditions over the course of the race.
Yes. Now, this I always talk about this because it shows how people change their mind and adapt, pardon the pun. Now, Nick first come up with this system as a suggestion to the OneHub admin team. And I thought it was a daft idea and it didn't work. Genuinely thought it was a poor idea. Now, it is my favourite part about OneHub. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So, a reminder to the drivers and to the drivers who are new. Like Mike said, we run an adaptive weather system. Now, we have wheels for qualifying and wheels for the race. They will have various different weather scenarios. Now, like we mentioned at the start of the stream, at the moment there is a glitch during qualifying, so the only weather scenarios in qualifying is dry until they fix it. Now, when it comes to the race, there are 3 slots that we can use for the weather. So that can go from perfectly sunny all the way to the heavy rain. Once that particular scenario is used, that gets removed from the wheel and from the list. And then the following week, then we do another wheel, but without that particular scenario. An absolutely brilliant mechanic. I think it's very exciting. What I find interesting, Mike, is the difference of opinion on whether they want it wet or dry amongst the drivers. I always find it very interesting. Larkin and Quace are usually keen for wet weather races. Some of the drivers despise the rain and want it dry. So, without further ado, Mike, let's do the weather.
Yeah, and of course, another thing as well, after last season, there were so many dry sessions. Now I think a bit of weather is going to switch things up this season. Just a quick question to everyone in the chat right now. If you can all see the wheel, Colin, would you be able to let me know if you can see the wheel spinning around?
Yeah, got the wheel.
Okay, lovely stuff. So let's find out what is going to be here in qualifying. Remember, no wet options due to the unfortunate glitches going on. But let's see what the weather is in qualifying.
Here we go.
Just about clear here for qualifying. So
perfect conditions. Yeah, sorry, Mike. Yeah, perfect conditions. Yeah.
Perfect conditions indeed there for qualifying. But I think the one that everyone wants to have a look at is, of course, the race one. And, ladies and gentlemen, these are your options for the race. A lot of different varying conditions out there. But let's see what is going to happen. And let's bring back Jess's phrase in spin that wheel. What's it going to be? What's it going to be?
Let's have a look.
Ooh, it's clear to light cloud in the race.
Oh, okay. So no rain for Belgium. Tell us in the chat, how happy are you for that? Were you wishing for rain? Are you glad that your first race on the new DLC is in the dry?
Well,
everyone's going, thank God.
Everyone breathing a sigh of relief right there that there is no weather conditions. To be honest, I was kind of hoping for a little weather conditions just to take them out of the wheel nice and early. But yeah. Honestly, a fantastic session going to be lined up for us. Of course, 3 p.m. P4 will be kicking off. And of course, R-Boss 4 for P3, 6 p.m. for P2. And of course, we have 7:30 for P1. Before we wrap things up here tonight, we got to go through our sponsors and partners here at One Hub, so I'll quickly go through that real quick. So our title sponsor in Delta.app. This is for over 18s only. All your investments in one app. Make smarter decisions like the world's top investors. Track your journey to success with Delta. If you use the command !Delta in the Twitch chat or click the link in the YouTube description, you will be able to track your investments. Next Level Racing, who sponsor the league by providing some prizes each season. Of course, some fantastic racing equipment that they have in store. Of course, Sim Racing Setups provide pro setup bundles for the DLC created by the top esports drivers. They offer dry, intermediate, and wet setups. There's also two types of dry setups: the safe setup and esports setup. They also provide strategy tips, a track map on when to use your ERS during qualifying, and of course they sponsor through the Driver of the Day winners as well. Pure Sim Gear, with of course They sponsor the league by providing some sim racing socks or gloves to the drivers with the most fastest laps and pole positions over the course of the season. And of course, if you use the code OHR10P, you can get 10% off in the store. Vespertwin, who of course sponsor our official apparel and provide some great merchandise, and of course Sim Grid. And without SimGrid, we would be stuck using Google Forms for the championship standings, which, Colin, I mean, we've been around for a long time. Google Forms is a nightmare to deal with.
Oh, God, yeah. So having it on SimGrid just makes life 10 times easier for us. Makes it easier for you guys as well, because you can see the stand-ins live whenever you wish. That will also show you individual races, race laps, best laps, qualifying, so you can see where you need to improve as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, as mentioned, obviously 3 p.m. for P4, R-Bars 4 for P3, 6 p.m. for P2, and P1 at 7:30. But yeah, I think that is it, and we can wrap it up and let everyone get out there and start practicing for the race. Thank you all for tuning in. Of course, Jess will be back next week for the pre-race show, so you'll be back to your regular scheduled partnership of Colin and Jess. But until then, it is goodbye from the pair of us.
Goodbye all, and best of luck to everyone. I'll see you all at 3 o'clock.
Goodbye.